And now, your daily dose of debate, breaking news, and uncensored views. This is the Michael Medved Show.
And another great day in this greatest nation on God's green earth. And what a great day it is, living in the, we're in the third day of the new universe where the Seattle Seahawks are the champions of the world. And that, of course, brings people's attention to another form of athletic competition. The U.S. Winter Olympics team, which is suddenly controversial. Why? Because President Trump couldn't help himself. He attacked one of the Olympic athletes whose name is Hunter Hess. Maybe he thought it was Hunter Biden or something, but he attacked him as a real loser. Why? We will get to that and get to the whole question of pride in America and some of the political controversies that have scarred Olympic Games in the past. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was jailed for 20 years for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to abuse minors, had a powerful, private, but now very public message that she sent to Donald Trump yesterday, saying that if he would just grant her clemency to get her out of prison, something wonderful will happen for him. What is it? We will get to that on the Michael Medved Show. There's a lot to cover, and certainly concerning the hopes of Ghislaine Maxwell. Meanwhile, GOP lawmakers are heading in a new direction as the midterms approach. What is the direction? It doesn't have to do with more commitment to Trumpism, MAGA, or Congress. And this goes along with some of the controversy about being proud to be an American with brand new figures from the Gallup survey organization. They have a study of American sentiment, and it turns out that American optimism, well, not very high. In fact, slumping to a record low. Why, and who was particularly hit by the decline in optimism? We will get to that on the Michael Medved Show. But first of all, the CNN is running a piece that bounces off the beginnings of the Winter Olympics in Italy, of all places. And the basic point that CNN makes is that Harry Enton, who reports on polls and public sentiment and data for that network, Harry Enton said today that Republicans are still proud of being American, while Democrats' pride is at an all-time low. Democrats' pride in their identity dropped from 83% in 2013, way back in 2013, but it's not that long ago, really. It was from 83% in 2013 to 31% in late 2025, Enton said, while citing a PPRI survey. A majority of Republicans, 80%, were still extremely or very proud to be American as of 2025. That's a 12-point drop from 2013. Just 31% of Democrats now say they are extremely or very proud to be American, Enton said. That is the lowest number on record. When you combine both youth and being a Democrat, that number falls into the 20s, falls into the 20 among young Democrats, Generation Z Democrats. Less than 30% of them are extremely or very proud to be an American. So what we're seeing here is both age as well as partisanship playing a major role in the fact that pride and the proudness to be an American, either extremely or very proud, that is at record lows, Harry Enton noted. He also took note of the fact that Republicans' pride in the U.S. had remained steady from the time of former President Barack Obama until the present day. The numbers show that more Americans were proud to be American during Obama's second term than Democrats. Isn't that surprising a little bit? Barack Obama is having a second term as president, and yet it's the Republicans who didn't vote for Obama. They were proud to be Americans more than Democrats were. Meanwhile, the issue about the Olympics and Hunter Hess, the CBS News reports that U.S. Olympian Hunter Hess said there is so much that is great about America, and there are always things that could be better. That was a day after President Trump lashed out at him for saying he had mixed feelings about representing the United States at the Winter Olympics in this moment in response to a journalist's question last week. I love my country, Hess, who is a freestyle skier, said in a social media post on Monday. Is much that is great about America, but there are always things that could be better. One of the many things that makes this country so amazing, the skier said, is that we all have the right and the freedom to point that out. The best part of the Olympics is that it brings people together, and when so many of us are divided, and we need that more than ever, Hunter Hess, the skier, said. I cannot wait to represent Team USA next week when I compete. Thanks for everyone for their support. American snowboarders at the Olympics also weighed in when asked by journalists on Monday if they'd like to address Mr. Trump. Sorry, that was not intentional. Mr. Trump calling Hess a real loser, or how they are representing and how they feel about representing Team USA. Chloe Kim, who was part of the American team, said, my parents being immigrants, this one definitely hits pretty close to home. A two-time gold medalist, Chloe, said, I think in moments like these, it is really important for us to unite and kind of stand up for one another, for all that's going on. And I think that I'm really proud to represent the United States. The U.S. has given my family and I so much opportunity, but I also think that we are allowed to voice our opinions on what's going on. And I think that the need to lead with love and compassion, and I would love to see more of that. Wouldn't that be a positive development if the Olympics actually helped to unify, if not athletes and young people and people around the world, if they actually helped to unify Americans in support of our team? I mean, particularly with the terrible news about Lindsey Vonn, who suffered that very painful and very crippling, apparently, at least temporarily, injury in her skiing. It's a moment that is supposed to be unifying and should be. There is, however, in Seattle, not just joy and unity and love for the world champion Seahawks, but there is, unfortunately, a new initiative involving homeless people, which is going to unite no one because it is incredibly stupid and short-sighted. So is a new war over a bridge between U.S. and Canada. And this is not a spiritual bridge, it's an actual bridge that President Trump is threatening to block. Why? We will get to that and much more, all coming up on The Medved Show. And on the Michael Medved Show, we mentioned just before in the first segment of today's show that the pride that Americans feel in our country is, according to a big Gallup survey, down, and it's down sharply. And there's one very good way that I can recommend immediately to try to counteract that and to build greater pride in how extraordinary our country is and how grateful we should be for the leadership that has blessed our country over the last 250 years. And that's going to the Medved History Store. There is a very big sale going on right now that takes a look for President's Day, because the month of February, because both Lincoln and Washington, by consensus, are two greatest presidents ever. Sorry, President Trump, no, you don't enter that little tiny group. Not yet, certainly. And some people may think about never. But moving beyond controversies about recent presidents, about Biden or Obama or Trump, whoever it happens to be, it's inspiring to look at the life of Theodore Roosevelt, or to look at the life of George Washington, whose birthday we celebrate on February 12th, or to, look at the February 22nd, or look at Abraham Lincoln, celebrated on February 12th. The history programs that we have are really, I think, the most important work, perhaps, that I have ever done. There is a special MP3 download, which is also available in an audio CD called Theodore Roosevelt, the All-American Boy, one on the real Lincoln, one on a portrait of George Washington, and a whole Founding Fathers bundle, which is MP3 download, or also available on an audio CD. And all of this ranging in price between $14.99 and, for a big, complete Founding Fathers bundle, $42.99. Now, all of this available through Medved History Store. Go to our website, go to michaelmedved.com, or go to medvedhistorystore.com and benefit from this very timely offer in this 250th anniversary year for the country, and the month of February, which just happens to be when our greatest presidents were born. Meanwhile, I had mentioned before in the show the sad news about world-class skier, Olympic champion in the past, and more, Lindsey Vonn, who told the New York Post that she expressed no regrets about her Olympics comeback, despite its unfortunate ending, which led to her breaking her leg in the downhill on Sunday, the same day as the Super Bowl, alas, and ending her time at the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. The gold medal winning Olympian spoke out for the first time since the scary tumble she took over the weekend, revealing she sustained a complex tibia fracture in a lengthy post on Instagram to her fans. Yesterday, she wrote, "My Olympic dream did not finish the way I dreamt it would. It wasn't a storybook ending or a fairy tale. It was just life." That's what Lindsey Vonn wrote. "I dared to dream and had worked so hard to achieve it, because in downhill ski racing, the difference between a strategic line and a catastrophic injury can be as small as 5 inches. The difference for her, obviously, a tremendous disappointment for her and for many, many fans. Meanwhile, there is also more about another kind of Olympics. Maybe it's an Olympics for endurance, because we're all enduring more and more and more information about the Jeffrey Epstein situation. CNN is reporting that Ghislaine Maxwell, who was filed for 20 years for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to abuse minors, sent a message to President Donald Trump on Monday. Now, what do you think she would have to say to Donald Trump? Well, she wants a pardon. She wants her sentence commuted. She wants to get out of jail. She wants to get out of jail free card, but it wouldn't be free. She sent a message to Trump on Monday, yesterday, and she said that if he were to grant her clemency, she would clear his name of any wrongdoing related to Epstein. And I'm sure everyone would believe her, right? I mean, sorry. When she is publicly advertising, give me a pardon, give me clemency, and I'll clear your name. You think everyone would accept that as, well, that's it. No, nothing more to see here, nothing more to comment about. The extraordinary overture, and I agree that it's an extraordinary overture, not a musical one by any means, disclosed by Maxwell's lawyer during her virtual deposition before the House Oversight Committee, raises further questions about accountability and transparency. Trump has not ruled out the possibility of granting Maxwell a pardon or a commutation. And meanwhile, lawmakers on the committee accuse Maxwell of attempting to buy her clemency by refusing to testify. Well, of course. And meanwhile, concerning people on the committee on the Democratic side of things, there is Representative Jamie Raskin, who claims that he found a redacted quote from Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers that contradicts Trump's statements about kicking the disgraced financier out of Mar-a-Lago, according to his review of unredacted DOJ files. A quote from one of Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers contradicting Donald Trump's claims that the disgraced financier wasn't a member of the president's Mar-a-Lago Country Club golf club was redacted in the recently released trove of files related to Epstein's sex trafficking case, according to Representative Jamie Raskin, Democrat, Maryland. Raskin examined uncensored copies of multiple documents yesterday at the Department of Justice newly established satellite facility. They have a whole facility which was created to allow members of Congress to review original versions of the materials, a privilege that DOJ announced late last week. So now we have a whole, not a Jeffrey Epstein memorial, but a facility so people can wallow in even more of the files and documents. What is the consequence of that? Does that add to Americans feeling less optimistic and less proud, according to polling? We'll get to that and more coming up on The Medved Show.